You're listening to Journey for Truth with internationally known medium, Tai Yi practitioner, and radio host Tami Urbanek.
Hello and welcome to Journey for Truth on Spreaker.com and on YouTube. I am Tami Urbanek. Thank you so much for joining me. On my website, you will see on the Life Energy Flow Tai Yi Treatments tab, you will see a treatment titled Circulating Circulation. This treatment is for people who have really sluggish circulation, which also impacts the lymphatic system. So circulating circulation assists a person in improving, increasing their circulation. What they will find occur as a result of the treatment is a reduction in water retention, also detoxing, and then they will feel better in terms of their circulation. So go to my website, empowermentthroughhealing.org, and you can read all about that treatment. Now, many listeners on this show, Journey for Truth, have heard me talk about JournalLifeInstitute.com. And if you go to that website, you can sign up for their free newsletter. In the newsletters, which are only sent out once a month, you can receive an abundance of information in regards to events that are going to be coming up, questions and answers submitted to Jonah, and then also articles written by Haska Harrison. So JournalLifeInstitute.com is the place to go to sign up for that free newsletter. My guest this week is Michael Tamez. Michael has had a transformational journey regarding his health, through his health. He has lost over 100 pounds and he has healed multiple health difficulties through essentially changing his lifestyle. He has stated that it has not been through surgery, but through making major life changes. He's an author, speaker, and a health coach, and today he's going to talk to us about how he found himself on this journey and how he made these awesome changes. Michael, welcome.
Hey, Tammy. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure.
Tell us about the beginning of your health journey. What were some of the health battles that you were facing?
Sure. Long story short, I was in a really dysfunctional relationship in my late teens, and it really ended in a not good situation. Basically, I was raising a child for a year, and I found out the girl was cheating on me, and the child wasn't mine. Oh. So yeah, that created a very depressive state in my life, and I really didn't care about anything. I would just eat whatever. I ate fast food, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I drank soda. And I quickly gained like 70 pounds in like a year and a half, 2 years. So, and because of that, I also developed sleep apnea, which is when you're sleeping and your airway doesn't, you don't get enough air to be able to go throughout the day. So you wake up, you fall asleep during the day, and you have really low energy. And it got to the point where I fell asleep driving and I crashed my car. Whoa. So yeah, and I was only 20 years old, so I was like, okay, this isn't normal for my age, and I better wake up and do something now. So it was a really deep, dark state of my life, and I didn't realize like how I can get out of it. Like I just went at it and just made a New Year's resolution actually, and stuck with it. And fast forward about almost a year, I had lost about 70 pounds initially, and went for another sleep study, and my sleep apnea was gone. My blood pressure was normal again. So it was pretty amazing. I mean, feeling and seeing a new person, it was quite the experience.
That is amazing for a couple of reasons. First of all, you made these changes at age 20, and at such a young age where you're deciding something has simply got to change. And then secondly, you made this as a New Year's resolution, and as you and I both know, many New Year's resolutions simply fail, typically in February or March, and you just...
Around this time.
Yeah, and you made that commitment to plow through and to follow through with such a seemingly, I think, daunting task in front of you, to have so many pounds to lose, other health difficulties. Now, I saw that you wrote that you healed your advanced gum disease as well. So, and high blood pressure, I think, too. So it wasn't just sleep apnea. There were some other things going on.
Yeah, I was just, I was unhealthy. I mean, to put it simple, yeah, I went to the dentist after I wasn't to the dentist for years, and they diagnosed me with advanced periodontitis, which is severe inflammation of the gums. Basically, gum disease, like at its later stages. And I had pocket depth millimeter measurements, which are they probe in your gums to see how deep your in between your teeth are in the gums. And normal probing is usually 2 to 3 millimeters, and mine were 9 to 10 millimeters. And you start seeing tooth loss at like 11, 12. So I was close to losing my teeth at like 20 years old. I mean, I had terrible dental hygiene, and I smoked on top of it. So I mean, you throw all that into consider all that, that's all a recipe for gum disease. And
you had the whole ball of wax: fast food, soda, smoking.
I look back now, and it's like, what was going on? I mean, I don't even know how to begin to understand how I was so asleep and unconscious and just like, it's crazy. And and I'm just glad that I was able to. I have the experience of going through all that, because now it makes it that much easier for me to coach people and help people, in the same situation that are going through the same kind of things that I reversed and transformed all naturally, no drugs, no surgery. This was an all natural approach, all natural, lifestyle transformation.
Exactly, and nothing is wrong with wanting surgery to assist with the process, of course. But there are many folks out there who don't want to go through with the surgery, where they are looking for those solutions that they can create in their own life through lifestyle changes and not resort to surgery. And sometimes that is the best option for certain folks, surgery meaning. Now, you talk about listening to intuition regarding your health. Can you give us some examples on that?
Absolutely. So listening to your intuition, more like I like to tell people, and I have a chapter in my book called Listen to Your Body. And basically what that means is, the best way I can describe it is we're a car, we're like a machine, right? If you look at an analogy that way, and when we're driving our car and we see the check engine light come on, we know immediately that our car needs attention, right? I mean, that's like a given. So we take it to the mechanic, it gets repaired, and then we go along our merry way. Repairs done, root problem gone, car repaired. Great. And our body is actually very similar to that concept. And our body has check engine warning lights in the form of symptoms. So something is off in our body and we'll have a symptom, and it could be pain, it could be inflammation, it could be swelling, it could be, isolated, it could be, there's so many different symptoms that we can experience. And that's a way for our body to say, hey, something is off and I need your attention, and I need it now, because if you don't, see what happens if you don't take your car, it's going to get worse, and then you might need extremely expensive repairs down the road. It's no different with our body. I mean, if we don't listen to those warning lights, if we don't hear those symptoms our body are telling us, it's going to eventually lead to health problems. I mean, in my case, when I was gaining all that weight from eating, having a terrible lifestyle and everything, I was having these symptoms. I was getting low back pain because I had so much weight I was carrying around. I was obviously falling asleep, and these are symptoms. We see these things and it's like, okay, I need to wake up because my body's telling me something. And that's the whole concept of listening. It's an intuition. Like, our body knows something is off. I mean, we have this innate ability to have that understanding, and it's pretty powerful.
Exactly. It is important. I agree. It is very important to listen to your intuition, listen to your body. What is it telling you? And sometimes, and I'm sure you've recognized this and experienced this, but sometimes your body doesn't give you these, over the head symptoms or hitting you on the head type symptoms, but more subtle symptoms.
Right.
There'll be times where I'll feel like, I think my immune system might be a little bit low, and I don't have any symptoms. I don't have a runny nose. I'm not having a cold come on. I just have this feeling. And then there have been times where I kind of brush it off, as a lot of people do sometimes. And then sure enough, I catch a cold within the next week or two. And then there will be times I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to do something about it so I don't catch that cold, and then I don't. But it's the same feeling. And so I've seen the results both ways. How do you assist people in listening deeply to their intuition, really to notice those symptoms that are not so obvious, like back pain?
Yeah, it's more of a kind of a showing people by, example, like giving them examples of things. Like, for example, I'll share one. like what you were saying about people wanting to get surgery, the bypass surgery or the gastric surgery to lose weight and everything. And, that's a great option for the immediate fix. That's great, obviously. But when you look at the underlying reason for the being overweight or, obesity or sleep apnea and all that, that kind of approach doesn't address those issues. And what I've from my experience is that deeper than the actual physical imbalance, which, is obviously being overweight or having, a physical ailment, deeper than that, there's always a root cause,
Right.
always something that's deeper that we're not seeing. And actually understanding that is very powerful, and it could actually have you tap into the ability to listen to your body, your intuition more often, because our body's always speaking, and it speaks in the language of symptoms. Symptoms, intuition, the gut feelings, the just a knowingness. It's a knowingness that that it's just we have that ability, and because of a lot of the programming and conditioning that we've experienced throughout, growing up, passed down from generations, shared through traditions, we've been kind of detached from, that understanding, and just becoming more aware of it, just knowing that you have the innate ability to, have an intuition and, know what your body is telling you. Just that is a good place to start, because from there, when you start thinking, well, am I reaching for this bag of chips because I'm hungry, or am I stuffing emotions that I'm not wanting to deal with? And that's a very powerful question right there for a lot of people, and it hit very at home with me, because I didn't realize that I was stuffing my face not because I was hungry, but because I was sad and angry. I was, from that relationship, and that created a lot of stuff that I held on to for many, many years. And it's from what I see coaching my clients, I do health coaching, and what I see the most is that people don't realize that they have this baggage that they carry in the present. And it could be baggage from 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Oh, really?
However long, I know I had it for myself. This baggage is like the resentment, the anger, the hate, the envy, the jealousy, all these negative emotions from previous things that have happened in their life. And once people start, really looking deep into that, like forgiveness and, not only forgiving, but asking for forgiveness,
So are you saying that people have become so accustomed to their baggage that they don't even realize they're carrying it anymore, and it's just become this very, let's say, normal way of feeling, and then they continue eating to suppress those normal feelings?
Exactly. And then it creates a cycle. So once that happens, then we have symptoms, and then you turn on any TV program, and every other commercial is talk to your doctor about this, talk to your doctor about that. So they know that we have these patterns, so they design these ads to get into our subconscious mind and kind of put that out there. You need help. You need this. You need that. You need to eat McDonald's. You need to become obese, and then you need to go for medications. It's kind of
sounds like a great life.
I mean, you see these commercials, and it's like, wow, what is the agenda here behind all this? We're not promoting a healthy lifestyle. Where we have all this awareness about cancer, awareness about this, about that, but okay, we're aware of what causes these things now. We're in 2016, we're not, archaic anymore. We know what causes these things, and it's having terrible, thoughts, terrible, not terrible, but just like very sabotaging. We're self-sabotaging. We have these things going on where we're inadequate, we're fat, we're stupid, we're ugly. These are the kind of things, mentally and emotionally, that cause physical imbalance, because if left undealt with, they can manifest that way.
Well, I think overall, socially, through the media and socially, we are collectively taught to be normal. We're taught to conform, be like everyone else, do what other people are doing, kind of follow the leader, so to speak. It's pretty rare that we are taught socially or through the media to be a true individual. I mean, some of that is out there for sure. I've seen it. But for the majority, it's do as everyone else is doing. Go eat at McDonald's, go eat at Burger King, go find this product, that product, max out your credit cards. And then on the other side of that, okay, well, now you need debt relief and now you need health relief and now you need a medication. Yeah. So you have both sides of it, and it's, go do this. People are pushed, go do this. And now, okay, well, that caused an issue. Now go do this to cover the symptom without, as you were talking about, getting to the core issue, which I agree. I would say for probably everybody, it comes down to an emotional response to something that is not being recognized, nor is it being effectively addressed. And food, especially sugar, becomes that cover up. Now, that segues into my next question. You state that diets don't work. And I think a lot of people are understanding that now, but we are still hearing through the media, go on a diet, reduce your food intake, reduce your fat, which I think a low-fat diet is absolutely horrible. Why don't diets work?
Diets don't work because we are 7 billion strong on the planet. And a lot of the time, some, nutritional guru or, doctor, sometimes a lot of times celebrity doctors, or, just people that have a lot of power and just not power, but just have a lot of respect. They have this idea that, okay, this one particular way of eating happened to work for that person or a group of people or a trial, it works for them. But I mean, if you think about the diversity that we have as a human species, the different cultures, the different, we have different immune systems, different cultural backgrounds, different genetics, everything is different. The way we digest and assimilate foods is different from one person to the next.
Absolutely.
So, someone saying, a raw vegan, very passionate, someone that's very passionate about their lifestyle, would want, everyone to have that kind of diet, or someone that's into paleo or into, the low carb or some kind of approach like that, or, any diet in particular. It usually involves one specific way of eating or one specific type of food or preparation of that food. But seeing that we're all unique individuals and have, different systems, one person's medicine can be another person's poison.
Exactly.
You look at it, and that's why diets don't work. They're not a sustainable solution because of the simple fact that we are all unique. We are all different but uniquely the same at the same time. But just that concept alone, I mean, you think about entire cultures that don't have dairy in their diet, in their regular eating. And some cultures don't have other things that, would be in other diets. So it's like, that's, my opinion, why diets don't work. And I go into really intricate detail about why diets don't work and what does in my book, Transformative Nutrition. And, I explain that concept about, that we're all unique and how we're all unique and how to actually create your own diet. And basically how that's done is the whole listen to your body concept. Once you start doing that more, your body will tell you, hey, so you ate this tuna sandwich on Monday and you had it again on Thursday. And you noticed that both times you ate them, you felt sluggish afterwards. And that's one example. Or you ate, you had a steak for lunch or something, or a steak sandwich. And then you realize your energy has crashed. And, by 3 o'clock or something after lunch, you're falling asleep or you're sleepy. That's not normal. I mean, that's an indication that what you ate is probably not good for you.
Right.
So, what I usually do with my clients and what I say in my book, Transformative Nutrition, is I have people create a list, kind of like a diary of, I ate this at this time, this here, and keeping track of everything, not only what you ate physically, and not so much necessarily counting calories, because I think that's an archaic approach these days, because, we're so far beyond that. We understand that, excess calories in, you don't burn enough out, you're going to gain weight. Okay,
well, quality of food is so much more important than calories as well. I mean, I can see how some people do count calories to kind of just keep track of how much are they actually putting in their body, which sometimes what you're taking in is a little misleading. I know that there have been times where I start eating more than I think I am, and then I catch myself and I start portion control a little bit better. And so I can see the value in that, but that this strict calorie counting of usually the 1,200 mark is where a lot of people try to stay under to lose weight fast. probably isn't all that healthy. But what's even more healthy is what you've been talking about in quality of food. Foods that are healthy nutritionally, foods that come from local sources, foods that aren't laced with tons of pesticides, foods that we can grow in our own garden and are not full of antibiotics and added hormones, but real food that can sustain us.
Right. Exactly. And, another thing about that is even looking deeper into the normal, concept of diets and diet books and dieting and fad diets and all that is a lot of the time they usually are focused on what you're eating and, a little bit of how your attitude, some go into the attitude concept. And the approach that I'm presenting and trying to get out to the world with my book, Transformative Nutrition, is the concept that, we have to look deeper because we can't just look at the food that we're eating, and that's a great place to start, but that's a physical level. And we're integrated. I mean, we have our emotions, we have our mind, we have our spirit, we have all these areas of our life that are kind of, interconnected like that.
Well, I think you're reading my questions through the computer because that was my very next question. How do thoughts and feelings and spirituality influence health? Because I know it does, and I'm really interested in hearing your take on that.
It is. It's one of the key elements. I mean, and you look at life, and I like to say that we're kind of like a wheel, and each spoke is an area of your life, right? So we have spirituality being one, physical health being another, home cooking, joy, creativity, career, education. All these things are spokes on the wheel. So when one spoke becomes loose, what happens? The wheel starts kind of wobbling, and then it gets worse, and then it starts loosening up the other spokes. So say, for example, the area that's loose is spirituality. So someone might not have a spiritual practice, or they don't, meditate or pray, anything like that. Or have, or acknowledged, or even, an atheist can even have not necessarily be spiritual, but just understand and accept just that there's something greater than us out there. I mean, we see our physical body and it's like you have all this out there. I mean, it could even be like the magnificence of science or physics. Think about it that way. But it's very important to have something that, that inspires you, that makes you feel good, that, that you have zest, for not only your physical health, but just, your connectedness with people, being a good person, helping people out, our brother and sisterhood that I'm talking about here. That's what I'm getting at. And, once we start correcting the imbalances we have in our spiritual life, whether it be, either, attending church or reading your holy book of choice, or prayer, meditation, yoga, whatever it is that you walk through a forest and, talk to the trees. I mean, there's so many we're so diverse. And that's another area, just like the 7 billion people, the diets don't work concept, is that we have so many different paths. And it's like, there is a buffet to choose from. I mean, it's like, easily find something that works, and we have a lot of this religious, turmoil in the world, but we don't realize that, there's enough abundance out there for everyone. I mean, we really don't need to have, that going on. And it's just interesting how, when you tie it all in, how intimately connected spirituality is to the rest of the areas in our life. And
certainly,
it really does have an impact on how you're going to eat and live.
Certainly. It creates, in my opinion, it creates a huge impact in how we approach food, how we approach life in general. A person who enjoys life, a person who searches for that adventure, finds that adventure, loves to live and loves to love, is probably not going to find themselves eating to cover up pain, because typically there isn't pain to cover up. Or if there is pain, it's very short-lived. It's something that is very temporary, and then that person moves forward. So it is about, in my opinion, and I agree with you, it's about being healthy all the way around, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I like how you gave all of these different examples of spirituality, because it is different for everybody. I don't think that there's one right way for everyone. That needs to be through this individual searching.
And I
Again,
think it's
this sense of individuality that is not widely talked about. Go ahead.
right. Yeah. I was just going to say, I think it's an intimate area. It's kind of, I mean, I see, you know, it as a connection, you know, a personal connection. And, you know, and it's just, it's powerful too. I mean, when you look at it that way, it's like a relationship, you know, and relationships need nurturing. They need, you know, communication. It requires things, this effort to actually, you know, make a difference and to manifest you know, stuff for you. It's powerful.
Now, I'm sure some of the listeners might be wondering, what were some of the practical things that you did to lose that weight and to get healthy?
Some of the practical things I did was, you know, I started going to the gym and, you know, going on, you know, cardio machines and doing some weights. But I found it boring, to be honest with you. I really don't dig the indoor gym so much. I'm kind of an outdoorsy person. I always was. I was an active kid. I rode my bike all around. So I just started riding my bike more often. I went on, you know, I used to actually go on 40-mile bike rides through,
wow.
Through a forest preserve that I used to live by. They had a bike trail. So, then I started doing like other outdoor sports like swimming. I would go swimming, and then I do like play basketball. Just anything I could do outside. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are some of the practical things. And then I actually also boxed. My dad actually encouraged me. He gave me words of encouragement because it was like a month into it, like beginning of February. I was discouraged because I only lost like 5 pounds. And he gave me boxing. He bought me some boxing gloves, and he had a punching bag, and he gave me this timer thing, and I set it for 3 minutes. So I would pretend I would be doing 3-minute rounds, and I'd box for 3 minutes and then rest, and I really like
that's a great exercise.
Oh my God, I can't believe how much it toned my arms. It like
wow.
That just started coming off. The pounds were dropping. I was like, this is amazing. So that's
interval training, what you're talking about, which is
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, which is very healthy.
Yeah, and it was intense, but wow, it like sculpted my body, and you know, that was actually it gave me a good appreciation of the workout I could do indoors, because like I said, I didn't like the machines and all that, but that was like almost a full body workout pretty much inside, and it was.
That's awesome. I love in the warmer months, I love jogging outside. It's one of my favorite things to do, especially when everything's very fragrant. And I can completely understand. It gets really boring being on the elliptical. It gets really boring being on the treadmill. And so I find myself taking different classes because it's more fun. And then especially getting outside, hiking, biking 40 miles. Wow, that is awesome. I've never done that.
I love biking. When I was still working my corporate job, I would ride my bike to work as much as possible. And starting the day with that rush was amazing. And I look forward to going home, and then, yeah, it was pretty cool. But I mean, I have a chapter in my book actually called Up, Down, and All Around. And I go into detail about, you know, the different kinds of physical activity, exercise you can do. And it's great because it covers like, just like we're talking spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. This covers all different kind of every aspect of exercise you can think of. The people that actually they'll put on a movie and go on a treadmill for 45 minutes, or, you know,
if that's what they like, that's fine.
And that's great, you know. So
you also obviously changed your diet as well. I mean, that was one of the practical steps. Was it hard giving up your soda?
Oh, I mean, that was like the hardest thing. I mean, it took me months, but I was drinking about a 2-liter a day equivalent. I mean, I kid you not. I was like, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I was drinking, you know, the supersized. I would get the McDonald's combo meal breakfast thing with an extra hash brown and a supersized soda. Wow. And I would kill it all. And I would go to Burger King, and I'd get like a double cheeseburger supersized, and I would eat that whole thing. And I did that every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, fast food and soda were definitely the two hardest things, but
well, and as we move towards the end of the show today, what is something that you can offer the listeners in regards to hitting a brick wall or hitting a plateau, something that can motivate them to get over that hump?
My biggest piece of advice for a plateau would be to step back and reevaluate. So, you know, the easiest way to do that is to say, okay, what are my goals? What is my main goal? Because a lot of the time I found personally, I find working with my clients is that, people it's great to dream big. It's always a good thing. However, having that as your sole dream, your sole goal is very daunting and can be overwhelming. For me, for example, if I would have said, I want to lose 100 pounds, I want to cure my sleep apnea and gum disease and lower my blood pressure, when I made my resolution, I would have quit after a week, because it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm getting nowhere. So paving the way with small steps is the most powerful place to start. Because when you create small, attainable, realistic goals, it makes it easier to get to that big goal at the end. And you look back and it's like, okay, that stairway was awesome because I actually enjoyed every step of the way. And I didn't make myself wrong. I didn't have any, I didn't beat myself up because I didn't reach goals. These small goals are easier to attain. Saying I'm going to lose 4 pounds in the next month is a lot easier to attain than saying I want to lose 50 pounds in the next 4 months or 5 months. You know what I mean?
Especially when you said a moment ago, not beating yourself up for not meeting a goal, or getting into this mentality of, well, I should have been this far already. I should have already made X progress by this time, and then getting to that self-judgment. I find that is the opposite of what you were talking about in the mental, emotional, and spiritual growth as well. Now, where can people find your information and your book?
My book is called Transformative Nutrition, The Ultimate Guide to Healthy and Balanced Living. And I actually wrote it based on my health transformation experience that I talked about earlier in the show. And I have about 15 years now of research, information, things that I have uncovered from dieting to, how our minds affect our emotion, our eating, to like GMOs and chemicals in foods, to, it goes all over the place. And the amount of information that is in this book would take years to research individually. And that's why that's how it offers the most value to people. And I put all my heart and love into it. And it's available anywhere books are sold online, as an ebook or paperback. And you can get on my website. That's transformative-nutrition.com. Or you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple iStore. It's available at all those places. And I infused this book with not only 15 years of my energy and my learning and growing and evolving experience, but I put everything that I have into it, because I'm really confident that, this is a good starting point. Like I said, with the small goals, also reading my book will give people access to so many different things that they didn't realize are possible when it comes to transforming your health in any way, shape, or form. I'm not just talking about weight loss and reversing, physical illness. I'm talking about, really achieving your goals in life even. I mean, I cover creativity, tapping into other areas that, were previously untapped. This is not just a conversation about, the physical health. It's so much more
about changing your life.
Yeah, exactly. It's powerful. It really is.
Well, thank you, Michael, so much for being a guest on my show this week.
Thank you so much, Tami. It was a pleasure.
And thank you, listeners, for joining me here as well on Journey for Truth on Spreaker.com and on YouTube. Until next time, have a fantastic week.